Hey, welcome back. This is my second ever video blog. It's Friday. I have a lot of things to go over. First and foremost, an experiment that I carried on this week that I want to conclude. But first things first, this weekend I'm going to be going out of town to meet some family. I have a few car rides ahead of me. Got a load of the PSP. You know, the funny thing about PSPs and portable video games nowadays, there used to be a time when you needed light because, you know, the old Game Boys, they weren't luminescent. So, you know, you're in a car, they're good for car rides, at least during the day. Well, a PSP has a backlit screen like a TV does, and when light's on it, you can't see anything. So, I gotta work something out there. Kind of weird how that works out there, you know? Like, before you have the problem of light, and this, you have a problem of too much light. Second, this morning, I did my first occupational therapy session. A long time needed. Today was the first, so was the diagnostics to go over what I can and can't do so they have it on record. So they could go through my progress. Well, to give you some background, the focus is on my left arm, which doesn't work. My hand works, my wrist works, my shoulder works, but the rest of the arm is basically dead weight. I've been working on it, and I have very little movement in it, but not very noticeable movement. The reason that I'm like this, is that during my surgery, after they patched me up, a clot opened up, and I was spurting out blood. So bad that one of my surgeons, one of the main surgeons, said he lost 2 years of his life that moment because they thought it was over, and all of a sudden I was going to die. There was blood leaking like a faucet, and my blood pressure went down under like 50 or something like that, or whatever that is. I mean, I remember them saying something like under 50. It was very low. I was about to die again that night. So they had to act quick. So what they did is they broke my clavicle and they tied up that vein. And what it turns out, that vein is very essential in the movement of my being able to use my left arm. So what we're counting on now is that my body, the human body does, is it reroutes the veins and nerves and everything so that I won't need that vein anymore. It'll function without it. It'll redo the functionality of it, and it'll work again. But it takes therapy, takes a lot of time and a lot of exercise, a lot of patience. So I'm looking forward to that again. The number one thing is being able to play guitar again. It's the most disappointing thing about this whole time away from work, all this free time. I can't play guitar, and what that means is that I can't really write songs. I used to write music on the computer, but I found it isn't the most natural, it isn't a very natural way. A lot of artists, songwriters, go by piano or guitar, the chords and melodies. So that's basic fundamentals of a song. And I don't have a keyboard right now or a piano, unfortunately. So I have a guitar and I can't play it. That sucks. So wish me luck. I'm hoping to be able to recover that. I might even recover my lungs before the arm thing. So I'm not gonna have probably any free time, unfortunately, to write music during this period. Excuse me. So finally, this experiment I did this week is that I decided to watch MTV again. Since I was 19 years old, I've been boycotting it. This is no old man thing. I really can't stand MTV, and a lot of people don't. Feel the same way. And if you have to ask why, I feel real sorry for you. But I figured I wanted to see what people see in it, because I'm meeting more people who seem to be of that culture, and You know, um, I still don't think the not taking life seriously whatsoever thing. And that's a lot to get into. I'm not going to get into some soapbox. But yeah, it's still fairly annoying. But I find it entertaining on my level. That on another level that it's just ridiculous. The game shows are really silly. The way they talk to each other, the way they coach and talk to each other, you just wow, you can't be serious. Uh, they talk like this, and when they talk, when you do this, you don't want to do this, and they, like they're camp counselors. They talk to each other like they're camp counselors, like they're talking down to each other, and that's not how people talk. That's not how professionals even talk. And like I don't know, whatever. It's silly. But I'm probably thinking way too much into this. But it's just slightly annoying. But the shows are kind of silly to watch, and Date My Mom next. The dating shows, I kind of I dig dating shows in general. So I'm gonna be probably gonna continue to watch these probably. But one thing that I found really interesting that you don't see on none of the networks, actually two things. Number one, breast enlargement commercials. That's the demographic. um, Skanks. Sorry. if yeah, girls are judgmental about dick size, and I'm not gonna say whether I'm not. It's not up to you to worry about whether I worry about it. I'm not even gonna say. I'm just gonna say I'm not worried about what you have to say. Just leave it at that. But breast size. The kind of guys who really go after chicks that, only go after chicks that have a big cup size, are not the kind of guys that you probably want to end up. Unless you're a skank, which by all means, go ahead. I'm serious. That's basically it. So, all right, that's that. Now the other thing is that I found interesting is they had a show. There's a show called The X Factor where they have two couples, and in these two couples are two, one of each, one in each couple used to date. So they'd take them to a resort. Unbeknownst to them, they'd separate the two who used to date, and they'd separate the two who didn't ever date. And they tell the couple that used to date that their boyfriend and girlfriends are being driven off to some other place, where in reality they're in another room watching them on surveillance the whole weekend, and they always cheat. The exes always cheat, which is something that they show on TV. Like that's not the thing I mean to point out, but it's like they're condoning cheating. You know, they show people upset, but next week. So anyway, the cool thing, they had two gay couples, and you don't see that on other networks. No network is going to have that. Oh, the family values. MTV doesn't give a shit, and I give them props for that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cutting edge. And and no, check your moral majority at the door. So yeah, I thought it was really cool when it started, but it got kind of dull because gay people are homogenous. How about that for a pun? But they're they're all the same kind of attitude. Guys and girls think differently and they react differently, and there's the Three's Company type understanding, if you know what I'm talking about, that goes on, and it gets wacky. Um, at least that keeps it interesting. Gay people kind of have their own way of doing it and their own couple thing, which I don't understand. So it was like a bunch of, if it were four straight guys, it would be four guys getting upset over something. Well, I guess that's just a bad analogy. It was just they're fighting. Of course, they got upset when the others cheated, understandably, but the way they handled it was, I don't know. They they uh, they didn't get angry, but they were sad. They got emotional about it. Okay, so whatever, whatever. But interesting idea there. I'll give them that. So, all right. I hope I kept that brief enough. This vlog. It's hard to pronounce. And I'll see you again soon.